My 40F husband, 53M, and I were having a disagreement the other day about me forgetting something else not related to this. I don't remember what now. I have ADHD, as well as multiple other medical and mental health issues, a few of which cause problems with memory and/or brain fog, so forgetting/misunderstanding is a daily occurrence in my life, in our lives. I know it bothers both of us. When he angrily says something like, "Of course you forgot," just like you don't remember spilling coffee on the counter. He has often denied my disabilities, saying it's convenient. What I forget, it's not. It really messes up my life, our life. He's also in other instances very caringly told me that of course I am disabled and knows I struggle. It's only in these fight modes that he'll throw everything at me. Anyway, he had mentioned a few weeks ago to please be careful when making coffee in the morning because you've left coffee on the counter, and I was so confused because while yes, sometimes I will spill a few coffee grounds while I am making coffee, I have always been extremely careful to walk super slowly to the couch with my coffee cup in the morning even before he had said anything. It's been my routine for at least 2 years. It's always right to the rim, due to the size of my tumbler and how I make it in the Keurig, and too hot to drink immediately, so I slowly walk it to the couch. I've never spilled any liquid coffee, and not wiped it. Since he mentioned it, I've even been extra careful to check after I'm finished making coffee, and wipe up any stray coffee grounds too. Then a few days ago, as he angrily mentions it, he asks if I want to see his phone, to see the pictures, as he's apparently been taking pictures of coffee drops on the counter for weeks instead of mentioning it in the moment, as our marriage counselor recommends. I say no, I don't need to see pictures, just tell me WTF you're talking about. I felt so lost. He knows that due to my PTSD, I have a really difficult time with feeling like I'm in trouble, yet instead of calmly asking about it, letting me figure out what happened, it's always me getting yelled at. And then blamed for the fight. He brings me to the kitchen, yelling and pointing at a half-inch spot on the counter in front of the microwave and through gritted teeth forcefully asks, "What's that?" implying coffee. I was like, I literally have no fucking clue what that is. He says, it's coffee. I say, how? I don't even make my coffee over there. I ask, how do you even know that some random stain in front of the microwave is coffee and not some random thing made in the microwave? This enrages him, and he ends up licking his finger, wiping across the stain, and licking again, saying, it's coffee. Now, I'm not about to lick the nasty counter, but he has also purposely lied to me before, many times, so I definitely considered it. I insist again that I don't ever make coffee over there. I attempt to point at where I do make coffee, on the other 2 counters. He doesn't care, just keeps yelling. By this point, our 20-year-old son comes out of his room to see what is going on this time. I start to explain, and my husband ends up walking out of the room. I tell my son what is happening, and he ends up tasting the spot too. It is coffee. Now that I'm not being yelled at, I am able to think, and it occurs to me that a few days before, during a flare, I set an iced Panera coffee there, leaned the cover over the edge held up by the straw, to put in some stevia drops, and didn't notice the coffee drops on the counter when I walked back to the bedroom with it. Usually I will notice any drops and wipe them up. Sometimes I intend to wipe them up, but by the time I get around the corner to get a rag, I'm distracted by something there and forget. If I go back out to the kitchen and see it, I wipe it up at that point. I'm not intentionally leaving coffee on the counter. I try to explain this to my husband, but he accuses me of gaslighting him. Now the fact that he has literally gaslighted me, and compulsively lies to others too, makes that infuriating to hear because I do not lie to him. I do not lie in general, especially not about something as ridiculous as this. I simply didn't realize when he mentioned me making coffee in the morning a few weeks ago that he was actually mistaken, and it was the coffees I get from Panera that were the culprit. Somehow my brain did not connect the two, despite them both being coffee. I believe now that's because he worded it while you're making coffee in the morning, so that's what my brain focused on. I even asked him a few days after the first time he said anything a few weeks ago that I wondered if he actually meant coffee grounds because I'm always careful to walk super slowly to the couch, even demonstrating how ridiculously slowly I walk to the couch. That angered/frustrated him as well, saying something about how he's not stupid, and he knows the difference between coffee and coffee grounds. I try to apologize, but he's not having it. I try to explain, but he's seething, so I can't. I try asking my son what the big deal is, anyway. Why he cares so much about me dripping a little coffee when the rest of the counters, which are his job to clean but he never does, are disgusting on a daily basis. They're covered in everything from open butter wrappers with that miscolored butter, crumbs of all kinds, cereal pieces, etc. He doesn't wipe up my coffee spill, and then the rest of the counter. Apparently, he takes pictures of the coffee drips before wiping those and leaves everything else. I don't understand why it bothers him so much. That said, I have tried to be conscious of it for weeks, and I don't believe I missed many times. Maybe a couple times over the past few weeks. Out of the 3x a day I go to Panera, free 3 months of Sip Club for the win. Now we're back in the quiet phase of our relationship between these outbursts. He's not able to be talked with about it. To him, these fights don't exist after the last of the yelling stops. So I'm asking you, AITA, for not realizing there are coffee drips that I missed? Does the rest of the counter come into the equation at all? TLDR, I'm not great at summarizing. If anyone has a better way to put this, let me know. My husband is upset that I have spilled a drop or two of coffee on the counter several times without cleaning it. I didn't realize I had. He accused me of gaslighting him. I realized after he stopped yelling in my face that he was right, that I had dropped coffee, despite being aware of it bothering him a few weeks ago and trying to be careful not to drop any more, or at least to wipe them up. It's not intentional,